Okay, so we've got all our countertops fitted to the kitchen. We've got our end caps applied, tops cut to length as needed. It's ready. It's time to assemble the mitered corner. The bottom side of the countertop will have round holes where the draw bolts go in, and literally one side's threaded, one side's a slip joint, and it will literally go in and pull the two joined edges to get mitered cut edges together. For this, we have a miter bolt kit. It comes with 4 bolts required, as well as the Wilson Art Type 2 proof glue. I've got a pack that's already open. It's pre-perforated for easy tear. Once you start this process, you don't need to walk away and go do something else. You need to get the glue applied to both sides, spread it with your finger, and tighten those things up. You have less than 10 minutes open time, and it's a really strong glue. So you want to get it, the glue applied, the bolts in, and the countertop leveled within that 10-minute time frame. I'm going to kind of roll the tube from the bottom and just use my finger as it is applied. I'm just going to begin to kind of smear it out as it's coming out of the tube. Then I'm going to come back to front, front to back, does not matter. You just need a good liberal coverage all the way over. You can see there's considerable runoff of the glue, and so you would want to protect your floor, the inside of your kitchen base cabinet, wherever you might be doing this part of the process. Factor on glue falling. We'll come back for the left hand side of the miter and do the same thing. Just follow my finger right in behind the glue pack itself so that all of the glue doesn't run right off the edge. And then come back and get that smeared out in a good manner. I bet you could just apply it to your finger and into the edge and it wouldn't be quite as messy. But there again, it's going to take longer, and you do not have much open time with this glue. Got a liberal amount all the way from the top edge of the counter to the bottom edge. I expect to see considerable squeeze out as the draw bolts are applied and tightened. I've got a damp rag on hand for cleanup. And prior to opening the glue, I also adjusted the bolts so that they're going to be snug to that size I need. The bolts, when they come out of the pack, are going to be much wider than where they would fit. So I'm literally just applying that bolt into the slot. There again, one side is threaded and one side slips. So as you tighten this 7/16 hex head, it will pull the countertop joint together. I get that in place and snug it up with my fingers. One thing I like to use as an optional tool is just a standard spring clamp. I can get the front edge of the tops lined up in perfect alignment, and then use a spring clamp to help keep it in place while I'm tightening the bolts. And you will begin to see that joint pull together, and you'll see the squeeze out coming out the top. You might even be able to see some of it hitting the floor from underneath. I'm going to check, make sure it is still lined up at the front edge. That's a very critical area for folks to see when they first come in. Oh, your countertop's out of alignment. I'm going to get this bolt snug. I'm going to use a block of wood and a hammer. This side is higher. You can tell that by running your fingernail across it. It snags. And I'm literally going to use the hammer and the block of wood to level that so that no matter which way you go, you're not getting a snag with your fingertip. That's when you know you've got good alignment. Take another peek at that front edge. It's still in great positioning. My clamp did its job. I'm going to move to the second bolt, third, and so on. Get it in place, snug it up. don't want to over tighten your bolts. You can actually put a lot of pressure on the joint and could actually tear the top up by over tightening. You just want to get it good and snug. You want to snug it up by hand. Then check your level. You can't do much leveling if the countertop is too tight, if the bolt is too tight. I think it's a water cleanup glue. And both of those joints are pulling together real nicely. Awesome. Wipe off the excess. Now that I've got the second bolt in, I'm going to come back and check the first one. Make sure it didn't loosen up. I'll give myself another half turn on the second one. Half turn or two. We're still in good alignment. From the bottom side of the countertop, this is what you'll see. The bolt goes in, you just tighten it just like that. And that literally pulls both sides of the countertop joint snug. Come around and get my third bolt in. Getting a lot of good squeeze out underneath the top from the adhesive. That's always a good thing. Improperly sealed countertops are prone to give you trouble most every time. If you don't seal it, it's going to collect moisture and swell. That's good. Go to the fourth one. Always kind of recheck and double check after you get a bolt in and get it snug. You want to make sure it didn't cause the previous bolt you've just put in to loosen up. And I'm going to clean this excess glue off at the backsplash. And I do have some alignment problem at the back. So come up on the backsplash, and that's going to bring that portion of the countertop into alignment. Put my block just inside the edge of the high side of the top. Work that down, and then I'll come back across the joint entirely. Here's the joint, come back across the joint entirely, and that forces them to become aligned. One edge right out front. And that is an assembled corner on a post-form kitchen countertop.